Hi there, this is Tony from pianotone.ca, and this is going to be a super brief initial reaction video to my latest keyboard purchase, the Yamaha PSR-E383. And FYI, this also applies to the 76 key version, the E320. This is the new version of one of the best, if not the best, entry-level beginner keyboards on the market, the PSR-E373. I just bought this keyboard a couple of days ago, and I will be doing an in-depth review in the coming weeks, but I did want to get a quick initial reaction video out there. Now, the E383 isn't a massive upgrade over the prior version, but there are some really notable new features that I did want to quickly mention, so let's check it out. So what's new on the E383? The first big thing I noticed is the price is the same as the prior version, at least where I live. So a big shout out to Yamaha for not increasing the price. The second big thing I noticed is that the E383 is noticeably lighter and way less bulky than the prior version. The new model is about the same width as the prior version, and it is only a third of an inch thinner, but the new model is 2 full inches narrower and about a half a pound lighter, and that does make a big difference. Another big change on the new model is the user interface has had a big makeover with quite a few more buttons available. I can't really comment on whether I like this or not yet until I get used to using it to see what I think. But one quick look at the user interface does have me a bit sad that Yamaha didn't put dedicated octave shift and transpose buttons right on the panel. Those are things that people use all the time, and not having to deep dive into a menu would have been awesome. So key action. Well, it feels to be identical to the prior version, so synth-style spring-action diving board keys that even though they are marketed as full-size, like most entry-level keyboards without weighted keys, they're actually a bit narrower with an octave width of about 159 millimeters. And the black keys are pretty skinny. There's 4 levels of touch sensitivity. For sounds, from what I see so far, not much of a change from the E373. There are a few more sounds at 650 up from 622, but there were already so many that this isn't really a big change. And it appears that the main piano sound is the same as the prior model, but I don't think that's a big issue. The main piano sound on the E373 and now the E383 really is an amazing piano sample for a keyboard in this price range. And Yamaha isn't about to start including samples for much higher priced keyboards in a $200 beginner product. And on both the prior and the new model, while over 300 of the voices are older XG Lite voices, the remaining 300 or so sounds really are overall great quality sounds, and there is still a nice selection of super articulation Lite voices. I'm actually considering using the E383 with my band as an extra keyboard purely for all the extra voices Yamaha really does a good job at. Things like wind and brass instruments, guitars, that type of thing. My band often wants me to throw in stuff like a quick saxophone solo, and to be honest, these extra sounds are way better on the 383 than they are on my Hammond SK Pro stage keyboard, which costs way more. And there are still lots of DSP effects available for customizing your sounds, and you can still split and layer sounds and adjust relative volumes. And new to the E383 is Duo Mode, which splits the keyboard into 2 with equal octaves, which is meant for having a teacher sit beside you. For rhythms and For rhythms and accompaniment, there are a bunch of new rhythms, but as with the voices, there were already a ton of styles on the prior version. So increasing that to 260 from 205 is great, but to me there's a couple more, much more interesting upgrades to talk about. The first one is that there are a handful of styles that have accompaniment but without any percussion. One of them is an ethereal movie soundtrack style, and then there's some pianist styles. With these, you still control the accompaniment with your left hand as usual, but there just isn't any rhythm track. I really like these. Now to the second new feature, which is really cool and is almost amazing. There are 50 built-in chord progressions on the E383. So you can choose any of the styles and then choose one of these built-in chord progressions and have the keyboard play them for you. I love this feature because it frees up your left hand to actually play. And you can transpose these chord progressions to different keys, although the chords displayed on the screen will always be just as if they were in the key of C or A minor. So why is this just really cool and not amazing? Well, what if instead of using up a bunch of memory with outdated built-in piano lessons, that instead Yamaha allowed you to input your own chord progression? That's actually a feature found on the Roland FPE50 digital piano, which sells for 5 times what the E383 does. So Yamaha, you were really close to something amazing. You might have missed a massive opportunity here. But the E383 is a $200 US keyboard, so I really shouldn't be complaining. It's still an awesome feature. And one final thing to mention about the rhythms and accompaniment is that Yamaha is still limiting their chord fingering choices to just 2, multi-finger and smart chord. This is really starting to lag behind the competition, which has had more chord fingering options for quite a while now, so I'm not quite sure why Yamaha continues to kind of lag behind in this area. So as far as the rest of the features on the E383, they haven't changed much, if at all, from the E373. The speakers appear to be the same at 5 watts total, although one nice upgrade here is that the speakers now have metal grills covering them instead of the dust-collecting fabric on the prior model. The connectivity is the same, with ports for headphones, a sustain pedal, an audio in, and a USB port, which thankfully still has a built-in USB audio interface, which is a huge feature, still lifting Yamaha above Casio. And as with the E373, there is still a music database, sample songs, way too few registration banks, an arpeggiator, the ability to run on batteries, and there is a learn-to-play lesson system, which to me is super outdated, but all these features are still there. So that's pretty much it for my initial reaction video on the Yamaha PSR-E383. If you like the content, please feel free to smash the like button and subscribe to my channel. It does really help me out. And if you subscribe, you're not going to miss my full in-depth review on this keyboard when I have it ready in a few weeks. I'll leave some links in the description below to check out current prices in your area on the E383, and as usual, to some awesome online piano training that worked really well for me. So thanks again for checking out the channel. Happy keyboard playing and happy keyboard shopping. Have an awesome day. Ding, ding.